Microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the rap music plug at your service.
Here we are again at the end of a rainbow.
For me, 2024 featured a whole lot of good in my life, but it also was a year that I was excessively run down, constantly overworked and tired, which inevitably bled into my music listening. Within this cloud of busyness, I've been trying to make sense of how to get back on the right track with my habits, and obviously, a key thing that usually takes a lot of my time is music listening. Yet, unlike any time within the past decade, I was streaky with my music consumption this year, where I'd go sometimes a full day without listening to anything, which would previously be blasphemous for me. Now, the reason for this was that I've just been feeling pretty disenchanted with life these days. The world was starting to look a bit gray, and it reminded me of some of my darker times back in university where I just didn't really have a direction for my life. But I'm happy to share with you that I feel like I finally dug myself out of this hole. And what got me out of this rut, you may ask? It was music. It was the recent dive into the world of 3 6 Mafia and the classic Memphis rap scene as a whole that injected me with such a strong dose of what I'm calling pure creative inspiration that has given me a rejuvenated zest for life that has propelled me ever since. Listen on to learn why this music struck me so strongly and how it got my mojo back. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. What you'll be listening to today is an installment of the Conversation Pieces series. What I'll be doing in this series is shining a light on some inspired gems of creativity in hip-hop that I've encountered, providing expanded thoughts on fly things I've taken from the art, focusing on the how and the why I believe an artist ended up accomplishing something, with a more nerdy intention that gives my completely subjective and biased take on what gives the special somethings in rap their magic. Off a chance Discord post from Stroud talking about Kingpin Skinny Pimp's essential album, King of the Players Ball, I checked the record out, loved it immediately, and proceeded to go down this invigorating rabbit hole that I find myself deep within over the past month and a half. I've been breathing all the essential Memphis rap records ever since, from the likes of Tommy Wright, Project Pat, VOS, and most notably, the project that shifted my entire mood and unlocked a newfound appreciation for an entire movement of hip-hop was The Devil's Playground Underground Solo by Coops Decay. Prior to this headfirst exploration into Memphis rap, I was a lot less tapped into the scene than I would have liked to admit. I was exposed to some of the essentials on the scene and really liked them surely, but not at all to the level I do now. Just as it happens often with music, it took years, but this style of rap finally clicked. There were a few key things within the music that I simply have been not able to get enough of. The textures in the music, particularly from the 90s and early 2000s, was so lo-fi, raw, and just filthy. You think you know lo-fi and muddy mixing from the likes of Griselda and others, and then you listen to some of these projects that sounded like the original session tapes were run over by several trucks, and you realize that there are levels to the grime. But all of this I mean as compliments, to be clear. Surely some may find this quality of the music hard to wrap their heads around, but it adds a unique quality to the listening experience that I love. Within this muddy mix, though, the sounds being integrated were and still are inspired and produced terrifically. The often murderous, hyper-violent, and downright demonic lyricism sometimes was placed atop incredibly dirty drums and extremely creative sampling work that was often repetitive as hell. This repetition, again, is meant to be a compliment and contributes to the final element of the sauce of Memphis rap, which is that the music is viscerally hypnotic. This visceral hypnosis was built through these addictive grooves, repetitive sample techniques, and hook heavy song structures that put me in a trance, where I'd have refrains from these songs burrow deep into my brain on an almost subconscious level due to the exceptionally sturdy songwriting and sticky refrains. These songs don't just feel like songs, they feel like spells where I'm completely arrested by the track and head nodding on an unconscious level as if it's as natural an act as breathing. No other album in this scene achieves all of these things better than Koopsta's Devil's Playground. Koopsta K was a member of 3 6 Mafia and I believe had some legal issues in the mid 90s, so this album, previously released, was remastered with a couple additional tracks as a true fully fledged studio album in the late 90s and absolutely delivered. It takes zero time for this album to prove my weighty praise true, as Torture Chamber is a masterful rap song. The incredibly intoxicating, inventive hook, the creative, dark imagery, the crazy use of sitar in this beat, and the hard drums, they clash so nicely, and it's just a beautiful sign of what's to come. The sounds on this record are consistently mixed with a gritty, ultra raw finish that adds so much character to the atmosphere. That visceral hypnosis that I spoke of earlier is encapsulated perfectly by Smoking on a J, which has such a fucking addictive groove and hook which is looped incessantly, and I just can't get enough of it. The splattering of repetitive vocal samples and hooks playing out like rap's take on collage music on Busta's Better Make Way are just so dense and are just so intoxicating. The nimble display of rapping on Robbers or Front of Busta is vivid and dynamic as hell as he paints crime narratives with the most cool and casual brush possible. So from the quality of the production on this album, produced fully by DJ Paul, to the level of sonic and writing invention, the degree in which I was impressed by the creative choices and vision wasn't typical at all. I was truly in awe, almost dumbfounded by what I was hearing. And it brings me full circle to why I'm even talking about Memphis rap and this phenomenal Devil's Playground album at all. Because I truly feel like this experience of sinking my teeth into this music gave me a special feeling that I'm trying to term pure creative inspiration. What I'm describing in usually minor levels is something that is rather routine for me. I'm sure other people who love music. Listening to tons of music, developing a taste, and understanding the right places to look, it's become pretty easy for me to have this healthy experience with music that I'm speaking to, where I feel joy and I feel happiness because I'm liking the experience of appreciating a piece of art. But there's another level to this which is not routine at all. It's rare, actually. Within a sea of great music I'm in concert with every single day, it's only once in a while that I get that unbridled feeling of wonder when I stumble upon a piece of art where I go, how did they think of this? Why did they think of this? And why does this feel so good to listen to? It's that eureka moment, which I experienced recently through the alchemy of Memphis rap, Koopsta K, and 3 6 Mafia & Co. That made me feel so much joy and appreciation that I finally could feel activated again, that I could feel sincerely excited about something again, which gave me the special type of juice that can bleed into your entire outlook on life. I wasn't in that malaise any longer, and it sparked a series of very positive events. I feel rejuvenated in my passion for music listening to way more and exploring outside of my comfort zones that has now been extremely fruitful, bumping a lot of non-rap music especially, and going on this really fun Otechra binge as of late. I've begun getting back on track with my habits, taking care of myself, Obviously, not where I want to be yet, but little by little, I'm noticing some positive strides, which overall just has me feeling less glum, much less self critical and self loathing. I just feel a bit better. And after a year of feeling kind of increasingly tired, getting worryingly pessimistic, feeling like I was letting go of the rope, I think I'm back on track. This recent foray into Memphis rap has done wonders for my spirit. So, my message to you listening to this is don't lose hope. You may be surprised where you will find that one little thing that gives you your dose of pure creative inspiration in the next movie or song you stumble upon with an open mind, or trip, or really anything, any life experience. So I want you to remember that. But with that said, those Tommy Wright albums, that Juicy J Volume 9, hearing people use the term Anna as a slang for animosity that is just so sick. Man, consider a trip to Memphis and experience the world of rap over there. I highly recommend. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to not only support the show, but join the fastest growing community of like-minded indie rap fans, go to patreon.com, search for the Rap Music Plug podcast, and become a patron. You will gain access to an exclusive patron-only Discord that me and 70 plus people engage with on the regular, as well as other patron-only benefits such as bonus episodes, album recommendation reviews, early access to regular episodes, and much more. So if you have any questions about any of the Patreon stuff, or just want to keep tabs on the show, interact with me on rap music and all the great stuff that we can talk about, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at rapmusicplugpod, or shoot me an email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com. You can also rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify as well. But that's enough self-promotion for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.